President Zelensky and the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio have landed in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, ahead of peace talks on Tuesday. The Ukrainian president is set to propose a so-called sky and sea ceasefire with Russia via his officials, who will meet with their US counterparts. Neither Zelensky or Trump will attend the talks, where the US is set to play peacemaker between Ukraine and Russia. Trump's team are expected to use discussions to see if Ukraine is willing to make concessions to Moscow. It comes as the US attempts to bring Putin in from the cold and takes a step back in its support for Ukraine by cutting off aid and intelligence. Ahead of the crunch talks, UK Prime Minister KEIR Starmer held a phone call with Donald Trump. He said he hopes there will be a positive outcome that will see the US restore military aid, support and intelligence sharing. As tensions came to a head between the two nations with last month's fiery clash in the Oval Office, Starmer said he wanted the UK to act as a bridge. As part of this, UK security officials are reportedly briefing Zelensky on handling the sensitive negotiations before the crucial talks. On Sunday, Trump once again slammed Zelensky, saying he is ungrateful and warned that Ukraine may not survive if a peace deal is not reached soon.
Have you made a final decision about what sanctions or tariffs you might impose on Russia and when that might be?
We're looking at a lot of things. We have big meetings coming up, as you know, in Saudi Arabia. That's going to include Russia. It'll be Ukraine. We'll see if we can get something done. I'd like to get something done. A lot of people died this week, as you know, in Ukraine. Not only Ukrainians, but Russians. So I think everybody wants to see it get done. We're going to make a lot of progress, I believe, this week. Let's see what happens with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. I think you're going to have eventually, and maybe not in the distant future, you're going to have some pretty good results coming out of Saudi Arabia this week. Well, I think they will sign the minerals deal, but I want them to want peace. Right now,
how do they show that? How do they show they want peace?
Well, right now they haven't shown it to the extent that they should. I think right now they haven't, but I think they will be, and I think it's going to become evident over the next 2 or 3 days.
The US president also said that he has been very tough with Russia as he brings Vladimir Putin in from the cold. It is understood that the US told Kyiv it must be willing to give up territory if it wants to see the return of US support. Meanwhile, Zelensky has suggested he will only accept to give up territory if it means a NATO membership for Ukraine.